from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
This is the National News broadcast coming to you live from the Rupavahini studios, bringing your stories for today. I'm Shram Mascrinias.
Good evening, I'm Clifford Richards. First of all, we take a look at the headlines.
Crowds in large numbers attend the Poson Festival in Anuradhapura. Presidential pardon for 441 prisoners. Death toll in the Indian train accident exceeds 300. The President reiterates the need for all Sri Lankans to unite to bring the country out of the economic turmoil rather than competing in elections. An international university in climatic change to be established next year. A decisive Sri Lanka-Afghanistan ODI match tomorrow.
On to the stories in detail, starting off with local news. Today is Poson Full Moon Poya Day, which marks the meritorious advent of Arahat Mahinda to Sri Lanka.
Well, this is the highest national religious festival that marks the foundation of the Buddhist civilization in the country and also the establishment of the Buddha Sasana in the island. Arahat Mahinda establishing the Buddha Sasana in this country, his chanting of the Chullahattipadopama Sutra to a group of about 40,000 persons, including King Devanampiyatissa, and the Sama Chitta Pariyaya Sutra to the deities, and several other important events are connected to the Poson Full Moon Poya Day. Under the guidance of the Arahat Mahinda, the king and the people of the country observed the Panchasila with Tissarana and became Buddhists. With that, social ethics and the economy thoughts and wishes of the people and attitudes were nourished according to the new philosophy. A new vision which was useful for the sustaining of the society was established. Together with the revolutions of this philosophy, numerous religious programs have been organized in the Buddhist temples throughout the island today in connection with the Poson Full Moon Poya Day. Many pilgrims were seen arriving at the historic Jayashree Mahabodhi and Atamasthane in Anuradhapura to engage in religious observances. Many Buddhist pilgrims were also seen visiting the Sri Darada Maligawa to engage in religious observances since morning. Historical Buddhist religious sites in Polonnaru were also filled with devotees on Poson Full Moon Poya Day today. Many devotees were seen observing Sil at the historic Galvihara sacred premises. The live telecast of the national television Sadharma Varsha religious program was conducted throughout the day from the historic Abhayagiriya sacred site. The programs were organized with the guidance of the chief incumbent of the temple, the Venerable Dr. Kalanchi Ratnasiritera, chairman of SLRC W.V. Ganegala, Director General Asanga Jayalat, and staff members of the corporation also took part in this event. Programs relating to the Dana, Sila, Bhavana, Dhamma sermons and pujas have also been telecast from the sacred site throughout the day. The Dharma Deepani Poya program, organized by the Office of the Prime Minister, was also conducted at the historic Abhayagiri Vihara premises. The main Dhamma sermon was delivered by the head of the Anuradhapura Mahavihara Piruvana, the Venerable Vallagiri Silasumanathera. The chief incumbent of the Seruvavila Mangalaraja Mahavihara, the Venerable Aludeniye Subodhi Thera, delivered the Dhamma sermon at the religious event conducted in connection with the Poson Poya at the Sirikota Party headquarters today. The event has been organized by the United Youth Organization. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, issuing a message in connection with the Poson Full Moon Poya Day, says that the Sri Lankan people must determined to lift the country once again as an advanced state before the world by traveling to the areas of Pratibha path inherited by the country with the advent of Arahat Mahinda Thera.
The President's message further points out that the Tathagata Dhamma, as preached by the Mihitu Mahathera, has enabled the Sri Lankan nation to come forward in history as the gallant civilization. It was due to the arrival of the Arahat Mihindu Thera that Sri Lanka was turned on a culture based on reservoir, paddy field and dagaba, which ultimately led to a self-sufficient economy and a peaceful political and social environment. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, in his Poya Day message, says a person who identifies the genuine Dharma always lighten up their lives through the essence of the Buddhist philosophy by dispelling all differences and cravings. He also said that at this crucial moment, the people must think with foresight and line up for a noble and virtuous living in a cultured society. Opposition leader Sajjit Premadas also delivered a Poson Poya Day message. He also pointed out the Buddhist philosophy has entrusted upon the administrators the responsibility to rule the country by safeguarding human rights and preventing all types of crimes.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that even if all political parties representing Parliament join together at this juncture, none of them would be able to gain a vote foundation of at least 50%. The President points out that therefore all must get together at this moment to bring the country out of the economic problem, and that their attention should not be focused on conducting an election. President Ranil Wickremesinghe was addressing the National Lawyers Conference at the Grand Hotel Noreli yesterday. The President has also pointed out on this occasion that confidence on elections or politics of the larger majority of the people, including the youth, has been shattered.
If you look at the political situation today, it's unheard of. President with one member in Parliament, running with a Parliament which is working together, and there are many members who are crossbenchers. But nevertheless, what is dangerous to me is that this is a Parliament which hasn't got political parties with the political structures going down. There are political fronts with different people which are cracked up. And if you ask me today, there are many in Parliament who disagree with me. But all the political parties put together in Sri Lanka don't have more than 50% of the voter base support. It's in a country which was highly politicized, and your numbers could go up to even 70%, leaving 10% to decide your fate. That's what it is. Some are happy at the present economic situation, thinking we are out of the woods. No, we are not out of the crisis that came last year. The economic stabilization has just taking place. We get off it when the debt restructuring is done, both the foreign debt and the domestic debt. As the governor will tell you, it won't cause a lot of worries of what will happen with the domestic debt, whether there be another crisis. He will tell you it won't. But we have to go through this phase. Thereafter, we have to decide what's the next step. Where are we going? What are we going to do? We can't go on the same way. We have to repay our debts. We get a longer time. That's one. Secondly, we'll have to keep borrowing again, because the balance of trade is not in our favor. So you come back to the same situation in another 5 to 7 years' time. That's why we've got to, this time, make a genuine effort to ensure that the economy will be on a growth path.
We, as members of the bench and the bar, bear the responsibility to ensure that in performing unique roles we play in the overall system of the administration of justice, to not lose focus on the core issue, the recovery of the entire nation from these difficult times, and ensure not to be blinded by self-interest or the interest of our own individual sectors or groups. It is always important to remind ourselves that members of both the bench and the bar, even though are important stakeholders in the justice system, the prime stakeholders in a dispute resolution mechanism are the members of the society.
As a nation, we are undergoing trying times, and therefore this cannot be a run-of-the-mill conference bringing the legal community together. We were keen to make this conference a conversation starter between the legal fraternity, the policymakers, the bureaucrats, and the business community. If we are to prosper as a nation, it is important that the legal sector recognizes the importance of entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurs recognizes the importance of the rule of law. In this regard, it is vital that the political leadership is also included to give ear to the conversation. So we are grateful that His Excellency, the President, has dedicated so much of time to be with us.
Though the economy of our country is now based on investments, tourism, etc., it would be prudent at this juncture to consider whether the environment of our country is conducive for investment and for investors. The arbitrary imposition of rules, regulations, including the introduction of laws without a proper consultative process, has raised serious concerns, which in our opinion has no place in a progressive system.
Amisa and Pratipatti Pujas have been given prominence in the Poson religious programs conducted throughout the island.
The special feature has been participation of all ethnic groups in these programs, overcoming communal and religious differences. An adult treatment program was held at the Mirihana Paramita Dharmayatana. The Mirihana Paramita Children and Youth Society has organized the event in connection with the Poson Poya Day. A rice dancela organised by the Rantaru Sports Club for the 9th occasion was held at the Gomez Avenue Playground with the assistance of the New Kolonnava Road Traders Association. A businessman in Gaul has conducted a dancela of finished garments today. Our correspondent says large groups have flocked the dancela held in Kadua Vatsa. The Ekamuthi Youth Group have conducted a dancela for the 11th occasion near the Kumurupansala in Bittiwala Homagama. Large crowds were seen at a Maniok dancela organised by the Manikagara Road in Sri Sadaham Buddhist and Community Development Society in Korotota, Kaduela. This is a scene of the Poson Rice dancela organised for the 11th occasion by the Pinketa Suwanda Sports Club. The fried rice dancela in Pannipitiya is the outcome of a joint effort of youth in the area. Students of tuition classes in Matugama were engaged in a town cleaning program in connection with the Poson Poya. Teachers of the tuition classes as well as officials of the Matugama Medical Officer of Health Office and the police were also engaged in the program. Sinhala and Muslim communities have jointly conducted a Sego dancela at the Nikavattana Junction in Damulla. The Rhythm Preschool Development Centre in Loluwagoda, Mirigama have conducted a grand dancela throughout the day. The Loluwagoda Junction, that is. The Sinhala and Tamil Muslim business community in Hatton got together to organise a rice dancela at the Hatton Public Fair premises. The United National Special Needs Forum has been instrumental in conducting a Poson devotional song concert at the Sirikota headquarters today. A replica of Mindu Thera was carried in procession from the Sri Sudarshana Lankarama Vihare in Makanda Kalaniya Rajama Vihare today. This program has been conducted for the 122nd occasion. A day-long noodles dancela organised for the first time by the Golden Sports Club in Hokandara with the assistance of the residents of the area was held at the Jayagat Mavata in Hokandara. A Poson pandal has been erected on boats in the Kaluganga by the Friend Life Youth Organisation in Muagama, Ratnapura. It was conducted with the aid of iron bars on 26 boats. Sri Lanka National and Singapore have conducted a Poson devotional song program in Sri Lanka Rame in Singapore with the participation of foreign nationals as well. Patron of the Vihara, the Venerable Gunaratna Thera, delivered an Anushasana. Elephants Orphanage in Pinnavala were given a treat of 20,000 kilos of tree branches and 4,000 kilos of fruits by a tourist hotel entrepreneur in Pinnavala in connection with the Poson Festival. Female Farmers Society in Vennapur has conducted a Those dancela at the Vennapur Trade Complex today. The Hinguragoda Nidahas Youth Forum has organised a fried dancela for the 5th occasion. This is another Dhansala organised by a businessman in Ratnapura town.
Well, we have more items on the Poson Poya observances. Minister of Mass Media Dr. Bandula Gunawardhan has presided over the inauguration ceremony of the Dharma Rashmi Poson Zone in Pitipana Homagama this evening. The Poson program has been jointly organized by the government and the private sector. The extent of the Dharma Rashmi Poson Zone spreads in an area of around 10 kilometers. It is open to the general public from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight on the remaining 2 days as well. The other features connected to the event include Western and Ayurveda medical clinics, blood donation programs, book Dhansala's, and also Buddhist devotional songs and puppet displays. A competition of lanterns with the participation of school and Dhamma school lanterns is also being conducted. In addition, a rice Dhansala to cater to around 60,000 persons have also been organized. The Sri Lanka Army extends cooperation for the conducting of a lantern exhibition from Godagama to Meegoda. Special train and bus services on behalf of the Dharma Rashmi Poson Festival are also being conducted between Kosgama and Maharagama. Carrying in procession of Nilagiri sacred relics for display at the Sukadbimbarame Vihare in Homagama has also taken place this morning in parallel to the Poson program. The devotees are being accorded the opportunity to venerate the sacred relics for 3 days starting today. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says plans are underway to commence activities of the proposed International University on Climatic Change, that's next year.
The President has disclosed these facts at a discussion with the officials of the Secretariat on Climatic Change recently. The meeting has taken place at the Presidential Secretariat. The University Grants Commission has identified 130 scientists who have been internationally acclaimed as experts in research on climatic change. The aim is to incorporate their contributions for the successful functioning of this University of International Relations. The meeting has also focused attention on the invitation extended for a Sri Lankan visit of a group of international specialists of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on climatic change.
But this is an international climate change university. So any country that or any organization that contributes becomes a stakeholder and will be in the management, in the board of governors. It's not only us. So that in the future. Secondly, this is a postgraduate university, no graduate these things, undergraduate courses, and that's all geared for research. All future research should be done here. If you do those, then look at it, because Harvard and MIT are all interested to come in. So can we work on this and get a concept paper? Now Koreans, if they are coming in, they told me, so let them be one of the partners. I am sure you can get this Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So we go for some of them. If some of the universities come in also, make this the central hub, and this will be a part of our soft diplomacy, that we are riding on climate change.
Rice tree is another name for the jack tree. Tender jackfruit, also known as polos, has a higher value by known as a foreign market, and also it has become a high earner for foreign exchange to the country these days. Well, polos is an alternate for meat. Numerous flavors are being added prior to the exportation. Sri Lanka's polos is mainly exported to Germany, United States, Canada, Britain and Italy as well as a value-added product. Many direct and indirect job opportunities have been created as a result of this venture. Around 1,500 polos nuts are being processed daily for exporting. The Sri Lanka Export Development Board is extending assistance to the businessmen engaged in polos processing industry. If this business is being conducted focusing on identifying market requirements, it could become a tremendous profitable activity.
Venerable Samantabhadra Thera says hundreds of thousands of people are arriving for worship at the Umandava Buddhist Universal Village. Special programs have been organized at the village from today till the 5th of this month. Visitors to the village have the opportunity to enjoy different types of food processed in a natural environment. A special rice dansal has been prepared to feed around 50,000 persons. Poson devotional songs, pandals are also other special attractions at the Umandava village.
Well, a drawing competition for school children has been organized under 4 age categories in parallel to the Sadharma Varsha Poson Namaskare program. Well, children have been accorded the opportunity to make creations relating to the Poson culture. Students of grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and also 11 took part in the competition. ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation has organized this event under the guidance of the Anuradhapura Zone Education Office. Nearly 100 children have attended the program conducted in the Abhayagiri Vihara premises.
Here's more news in brief. Minister Manoj Nanekara has taken the lead in handing over air tickets to the batch 59th, which has secured jobs in Israel yesterday. A group of 12 persons in this batch is scheduled to leave the island on the 5th of this month. Cinnamon farmers in Karandania were engaged in an agitation yesterday. They have demanded the authorities to hand over a fair price for their produce. The protest has been organized by the People's Collective of Cinnamon Producers. A carcass of a massive turtle was washed ashore in Panadura Beach. The wildlife officials say the dead turtle of a rare species. Steps have been taken to bury the carcass. Governor of the Northwestern Province, Lakshman Yapa Bevartana, has handed over presidential certificates to 745 Boy Scouts at a ceremony yesterday. Boy Scouts representing the entire island took part in the event. Senior Presidential Advisor Akhila Viraj Karyavasam was also present. 441 prisoners who have received presidential pardon in connection with the Poson Poya Day were released from every prison in the island this morning. A group of 50 unidentified persons was reported to have stormed 2 houses in Valaviti in Kadwela after assaulting the residents. The police says that they have now settled down in these houses and engaged in drug racketeering. A child of 14 years old was injured in the clash with gangsters. And we take a look at foreign news now. Around 300 people have died on a tragic railway accident involving 3 trains in Odisha state in India.
Well, authorities say that the rescue operation in search of survivors has in fact ended. Well, this collision between 2 passenger trains and a goods train in the eastern Indian state of Odisha's Balasore has resulted in the tragic deaths of at least 300 passengers, with approximately 900 others sustaining injuries. The Coromandel Express, which operates between Kolkata and Chennai, crashed into the Howrah Superfast Express. Authorities expect the death toll to rise further. The cause of the crash remains unclear, but the railway minister says that a high-level inquiry has been ordered into the collision. The incident has reverberated across India, prompting renewed calls for authorities to address safety issues that have plagued the country's railways for decades. India's trains serve 13 million passengers every day and 8 billion a year. While the government has recently invested millions to upgrade its railways, years of neglect have caused tracks to deteriorate.
At least 9 people have been killed in protests in Senegal's capital Dhaka and other cities following the sentencing of opposition leader Ousmane Sonko on 2 years in prison, which could jeopardize his chances of running in the next year's presidential race. The court found opposition leader Ousmane Sonko guilty of corrupting youth, according to the state media, but cleared him of other charges, including rape. Sonko didn't attend Thursday's hearing and remained at his home, but following the verdict, he can be arrested anytime. The former tax inspector, who came third with 15% of the vote in 2019 presidential election, can appeal the ruling within 15 days, but his chances of participating in the next year's election now seem slim, if possible at all.
Well, Russian forces have bombed Kharkiv Oblast, killing 2 people and also injuring 4, according to the Kiev Independent. Russian forces launched 2 guided bombs at the village of Kivshakva, killing 2 people and injuring 4 others. Kharkiv Oblast governor reported Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv has come under renewed attack, but Ukraine's air defenses have intercepted all 15 cruise missiles and 18 drones launched by Russian forces, Kyiv military authorities say. The general says head of the Kyiv military administration said separately that about 30 hostile objects had been destroyed. A Russian installed official in Donetsk says that at least 3 people have been killed and 4 wounded, including a 3-year-old girl, due to Ukrainian shelling of the city of Makiva.
On your sports news tonight, tomorrow is a crucial day in the 3-match one-day cricket tournament between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan being played at the Mahinda Rajapaksa Stadium in Hambantota.
The Afghanistan team won the first ODI by 6 wickets. Currently, they lead 1-0 in the tournament. Charit Asalanka, commenting on yesterday's match, said there have been shortcomings in batting as well as bowling of the Sri Lankan players. BRC has scored an excellent victory against the Galle Cricket Club in their inter-club T20 cricket tournament organised by the Sri Lanka Cricket. BRC, who came first to bat, has scored 145 runs for the loss of 8, and the Galle team, chasing a victory target of 146, were bowled out for 98 runs. Dilwan Pereira had a match bag of 5 wickets for 14 runs, which included a hat-trick as well. The Sri Lanka Open Golf Championship tournament was concluded at the Royal Golf Links in Colombo yesterday. More than 150 competitors representing local and international teams took part in the 7-day tournament. Indian golf champion Dwendi Samrath has won this year's Sri Lanka Open Golf Championship trophy.
That's it. That's a look at Rupavahini News for tonight. Together with Clifford Richards, I'm Sharma Screen, wishing you a very happy weekend.
Good night.